parts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Tired of your furnace running overtime this winter? Let Heartland of Nebraska Windows save the day. Upgrade to stunning, energy-saving triple-pane vinyl windows installed by their team of experts. Every window comes with a lifetime warranty on everything, all for a price you can actually afford. Free estimates, flawless replacements, and peace of mind from a family-owned business you can trust. Don't wait. Call Heartland of Nebraska Windows at 402-430-3852 or visit heartlandofnebraskawindows.com today.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high around 34. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy, a low around 14. And tomorrow, a chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and calm winds, the high near 24. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes a complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and
Electrical.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainer.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, welcome to this wonderful Wednesday. We got my man Rudy G holding it down on the ones and twos. We got Nick calling in from Michigan, Detroit. I want to apologize in advance, Swim and Rudy, and to the listeners. Swim, as you know, man, I'm taking a beating. Got some congestion stuff going on and aches, and but you got to get it in. If I couldn't have done it, I would be like, man, I just can't do it. But you being gone, we're going to get it going anyway. And plus, I'm still pissed off from last night. Swim, how are things up in Detroit, the Motor City, man?
AD, you're like Sam Hoiberg. You're a little under the weather, but still grinding through.
Yeah, you got to grind it out sometimes. If I couldn't do it, I'm like, hey, it's not good, but I'm a little ways away from Rudy, so that works out good.
Good.
So yeah, we'll get it done, man. We'll get it done. Swim, I guess, folks, we got a great show for you. Swim is going to call in for this first segment here. We got until 9:25. We're going to dive in. Initial thoughts from me and Rudy, and your thoughts at 9:25. Nebraska's lost last night up in Ann Arbor, 75-72. Michigan squeaks one out, along with the stripes on their side. I had to throw that in because we're going to talk a lot about that. And then from 10 o'clock to 11, I'm just calling it sound off. I want you to text in. Is the call-in available too? Can they call in as well?
Yeah, we can get that.
Absolutely. 402-464-5685. Again, that's 402-464-5685. Me and Swim tomorrow will dive more into the Belichick snub, which there's a whole lot to discuss with that. If you don't know, Bill Belichick was not a first ballot to the Hall of Fame, which is mind-boggling. And I tell you what, it shows you how much he's respected. Throw all the other stuff out at North Carolina. He is well-respected, and his peers are coming to his defense in droves as far as that goes. Women take on Northwestern tonight. They're at the Vault. We'll get into that. But, Swim, back to you. We don't want to bury the lead. Brother, initial thoughts. What was the environment like? What was the game like for you, having a bird's-eye view?
Yeah, I mean, the game was okay. I mean, here's the deal. Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record and what everybody else is talking about when you bring up Nebraska basketball, but they kind of showed you that they belong in the national conversation last night. And it's so bizarre for us because, you asked Price Sanford and Sam Hoiberg after the game about moral victories and trying to figure out ways that what can you take from a game like last night? And they were very quick to shut down the whole moral victories conversation. And I think then, you brought up Fred Hoiberg, and he sat there and goes, no, and I think there is stuff you can take and positivity from last night's performance. And then you look at the little things like national championship odds. You have Nebraska went into the game last night at plus 750 to win the national championship this year. And now after a 3-point loss at Michigan last night, you have an increase in the odds. They're plus 500, which gives them a better chance to win the national championship. It's crazy, just the positive reaction. I don't think I've ever seen it as high as it is right now. The positive reaction coming after a loss for a team.
Swim, would you say because of the inconsistent refereeing and because of the calls, do you think that it kind of endeared the nation to Nebraska, knowing they were in too short as far as who their top scorers, in the way that it was done in Michigan? 19 trips to the line for Michigan, only 4 for Nebraska. Do you think that brought some endearment from the national college base watching that game last night?
Well, I think one thing about the officiating, and I know there's a lot that you can go back and forth about it, and I think, like the free throw disparity, it's going to be wide anyway because of just the way that Nebraska was having to attack Michigan. They weren't going to be able to go down low, and we knew that all game long. So, right, they're not going to probably commit many fouls down in the paint. But my problem, it wasn't even as much with like the shooting fouls that Nebraska was called for against Michigan. Mine was the countless times we've seen Cale Jacobson get held and thrown down when he's just boxing out his bigger opponent because he's smaller than his opponent. Like those types of calls that are made judgment calls when they shouldn't be made judgment calls is what bothers me the most, in my opinion. I think that, you look around and you saw Cale Jacobson and Jamarcus Lawrence and Sam Hoiberg, all have 4 fouls last night. And it wasn't because, like, they're going to maybe be higher in the foul conversation anyway because of the aggressive style that they play with offensively and defensively. But I think last night it was more of a case of when it mattered most, I felt like the refs at times did insert themselves into the game. And when the first half was going on, and you can ask Michigan fans this because they were very vocal about it in the Chrysler Center, it felt like the refs were allowing them to play a little more physical. And then there's nothing more that bothers me than when the refs change their tune because the game is coming down to the wire and it's a close ball game. And that's what it kind of felt like last night. And simply because Nebraska was so undersized against Michigan because of Brink Mass being unavailable and Jared Garcia not being able to really match up well with Michigan, that's when it felt like, okay, it kind of changed into the favor of Michigan a little bit.
I am Swim. I was watching it. It seemed like there were times in the arena that it was just, I'm not talking about when we were up 11. I mean, it was close. It just seemed like it was just, it's a different feel, at least watching it from TV. It doesn't seem like it's a real high energy environment.
Oof. I will say this. I think it got
close,
loud when it needed to. Yeah, I was surprised. I tweeted this out. I was surprised to see with 7.5 minutes left in the first half, there was still a decent amount of empty seats.
Yeah.
In Ann Arbor, I was surprised. I mean, this is the first time in 5 years that the Chrysler Center had a top 5 matchup. Nebraska was the first time that they had a top 5 matchup in school history, obviously, because Nebraska had never been ranked inside the top 5, and so. It was surprising to see, despite it being a Tuesday night. Like it was a 7 p.m. tip-off here in Michigan, 6 p.m. your guys' time, but it was 7 p.m. tip-off here. And like, it's not like it was a late tip-off, not a 9 p.m. where you were having to worry about work. It wasn't too early where you weren't off of work too soon, or excuse me, off of work yet. Like it was right in the prime time window, and I was surprised, but it did get loud. And I just think that over the course of, Nebraska, like there was a couple of times. One last thing I'll note about the officiating, and I did tweet this out also, is because I did see that people thought, hey, the officiating wasn't that bad. It was more Nebraska was just so severely undersized. And of course, every game you're going to have some that guys miss and calls go by the wayside. But there's also something to be said about like accountability. And there was a guy, the director of officiating for the Big Ten Conference. His name's Terry Oglesby. He was supposed to be there last night. And I know that because his reserved assigned seat was right next to me up in the press box area. And he was not there the entire night. And it felt like that would have been a really good game one of his main jobs as the Big Ten officiating counselor is to evaluate and assign referees to games. And so, like, that's the guy we all kind of point to as the leader of all the officials, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, football, basketball, whatever it might be. And so, like, you sit there and you go, okay, like there's one guy that we can kind of point to, and in a top 5 matchup in the Big Ten Conference for him not to be there, it's kind of unfortunate.
Is it possible he was somewhere else in the arena?
I suppose it is, but also it's not like that's not one of those where they wouldn't have an assigned seat for him if he was planned to be on the floor. And there's not just limitless number of seats that are available courtside. So, I suppose it is possible. But I mean, it wasn't even as if I was there 2 hours. As soon as the gates opened for media 2 hours before the game, I was up there and I didn't leave until about an hour and a half or 2 hours after the game ended. And unfortunately, I mean, he was. I did not see him. I know what he looks like, and I did not see him once.
Swim. I'm going to tell you this too, man. I'm glad you didn't have to experience the TV commentators. Absolutely trash. I'm sorry. I try to keep it positive.
Nick is going after people.
Oh, Nick, bro. I try to find the regardless of Nebraska was playing or not. Okay, obviously that's going to bring some subjectivity to my part. Man, it was absolutely horrible. I mean, I'm thinking this is a top 5 matchup, and you brought in it was almost like they brought in 2 guys from the street that played basketball before, so they able to suck a mic in front of their mouth.
Well, I think it more so speaks to what they expected from Nebraska preseason, right? Like, I think everybody kind of expected Nebraska to be a competent basketball team and be a fringe NCAA tournament team. Nobody expected them to be a top 5 team, and rightfully so, right? And so it's when these games come out and the signs, they're given to the TV partners, if you will, and I think a lot of guys thought, or, the big marketing people looked at last night's college basketball slate for the Big Ten and said, all right, preseason, obviously knowing what we know now, it's crazy, but it's interesting to think about preseason back in whenever they select these games before the season even begins. All right, we have 2 games. Nebraska goes to Michigan or Purdue goes to Indiana. What game do we expect to be a little more competitive? Obviously, I think they're going to think that the Purdue-Indiana game is going to be a little more competitive, and that one was on Peacock. But then, rightfully so, the broadcasters get assigned to what way back then and stuff.
18.
And so it's crazy to think about it. But I mean, any idea or anybody that thought, oh yeah, let's have Michigan grad Nick Stauskas on the call for a top 5 matchup at Michigan, and this is going to be a good idea and not unbiased at all, is just kind of blown smoke.
Yeah, Rudy, did you watch the game last night?
I did, yeah.
What'd you think of the commentator?
Yeah, I completely agree. I know a lot of my friends too, they were saying like they just weren't going to watch it with the audio that loud. Like it was one of those ones that kind of just turned people away. I completely agree.
Yeah, Hisselbear, what's up, brother? He goes, he says, man, I didn't even have the audio on my Roku. And you know what?
Yeah,
I don't blame you, man. It was atrocious as far as the play calling. You can tell the dude played Michigan. You thought a few times you thought he wanted to go out there and lace them up again last night during the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I know what you mentioned, obviously, because with the undersized, the boxing out of our smaller guys, etc. But brother, it's when it's 19-4, I can understand 19-15, even 19-12. But when it's 19-4, when it's that big of a disparity, bro, this is just me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I thought the officiating was terrible. I thought it was absolutely atrocious, man. And I'm not. There were some that went in our favor that were terrible. So I'm not just going to say it was all Nebraska, being the recipient of bad calls. No, there were some on our part that I was thinking, yeah, we kind of hacked him there. It was just so inconsistent. The win it stares the most for us because it happened on the charge, which was obviously the point of the game. But
and that's kind of my biggest point is I'm fine if like in the first half and throughout the first 20 minutes, like lay out the guardrails of it's not going to be, I'm not worried about, like, a lot of people think that like the Big Ten officiating is so inconsistent, and it is, right? Like, it obviously depends on who you ask, but it is inconsistent, and they do have an officiating problem across multiple sports. And believe it or not, Nebraska fans, it's not just Nebraska that's getting jobbed out of a lot of opportunities and getting unfair advantages or an unfair disadvantage. But my problem isn't more so on the bigger scale; it's on the smaller scale of, I don't care if from game to game the officiating changes, right? Like, I can't expect one crew for Nebraska versus Michigan State back in December to call the game the exact same way and call what a foul is a foul and what's not a foul, not a foul. Like, I can't expect them to be the same between months of the season. However, I can expect, and I think we should expect and require officials to have some sort of consistency between the 40 minutes. Because last night I looked at it, and in the first half, they allowed a lot of physical play. And it beat Nebraska up. It wore Nebraska down. And that's fine. Like, that's part of the game, especially when you're undersized and when you don't have the depth. But what bothers me the most then is then they come out in the first 2 minutes of the second half, and they immediately call 2 offensive fouls. They call 2 more defensive fouls, and the game starts to lose its pace. It starts to lose its rhythm. And then throughout the whole second half, you're getting called for things that you were doing in the first half that were not getting whistles blown. And so, like, I think all we really need to do, we're not asking for consistency from December 10th all the way to January 27th. We're asking for consistency for just 40 minutes of basketball, because, like, lay out the perimeters, let me abide and play in those, and then we'll have a good rhythm and good pace for a full 40 minutes.
Yeah, the text line is a lot on here. We're going to be, like I said, me and Rudy are going to go through a lot of these at 10 o'clock and go through these. Swim, we want to be mindful of your time, too. Have you made it to the airport yet?
Oh yeah, I'm right outside my gate. I don't board for another 19 minutes, so I'm good.
Last thing for you, Swim. Obviously, Nebraska, we're going to play, folks, just so you know, at 10 o'clock, we're going to play some clips we got from Coach Hoiberg as well. At 10 o'clock, read a lot of yours. What was the presser room like, Swim, when you went in post-game?
Well, first off, I was really disappointed in Michigan. They had all the lights off in the press conference room. They weren't ready for us and everything. So we had to. I was the one that turned the lights on in the presser room. I just started pushing buttons, and hopefully, it's a good thing the Chrysler Center didn't blow up or anything. But it was funny. No, it was good. I asked him one of the questions I asked Sam, because he got on that hook and hold. Well, it wasn't called a hook and hold. It was called Sam Hoiberg sports foul. But on that hook and hold that Sam had, where his left shoulder kind of got wedged and clipped underneath the taller and bigger defender on that pass down the floor, he was kind of stretching it out and stuff. And so I asked him, I was like, Sam, like what happened on that? And he was like, oh, well, we'll call it a smart play. And Bryce mumbles under his breath, or you can call it a hook and hold. And so it was kind of funny. But it was, they're pissed off. And I think that I was listening to Jake and Sip at the end of their show. They're in the 8 o'clock hour, and they were talking about, Rink and Braden, I think are going to feel this one. I think Rink, I'm sure. I'll say this, AD. I was pretty close to Rink in the while he was warming up. And just kind of keeping tabs on him. And that dude is normally smiling around and hopping around. And he's not the most, flamboyant type of guy, but he does usually make time for conversation and stuff. And last night, we all know how it's like when you're sick and under the weather, you just kind of sit there and you go,
lethargic.
Like you take these deep breaths and stuff, because you're just trying to like collect your body, and that's what he was doing the entire warm up period. And you could tell. If I had to guess, he was maybe 60%. He was looking very anti-rink mask, and so we were told initially that he was going to try to give it a go, but it's probably for the best that he did. So I'm sure he's probably sitting in there going, okay, you know what? If I'm out there, we probably beat the number 3 team in the country on the road. I think Bryce Sanford said it after the game. If he doesn't go 5 of 16 from beyond the 3-point line, he said there's a lot of those out there that he's like, I missed. And normally, we're all sitting there thinking, normally you don't and stuff. And so I think that they felt like they let this one somewhat get away.
There's ownership.
And yeah, there's a lot of ownership. And Fred was very, very complimentary of Nebraska, and he was very proud of this team. And I think we're starting to see that from the fan base today, AD, where, man, there's a lot of positive reaction, a lot of excitement. And I'm glad to see that the tune that we were having before the game, when we were having the conversations of, look, just go out and be competitive and nothing changes. Everything you want is still in front of you. Nebraska has Illinois this Sunday. Michigan has Michigan State this Friday. There's some big matchups coming down the chute here, and Nebraska's right in the thick of everything.
Folks, we got Nick Sander, Detroit Airport. Nick, one more thing for you. One more question. Did you see the PGA store when you're going to your gate?
No.
Oh, dude, stay away.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's the PGA store's got so much gear in there, man. I'm glad you didn't see it.
Well, I'm flying United, because shout out to the Lincoln Airport. We're gonna get to fly right into Lincoln today. Believe it or not, it was crazy. I was initially supposed to be on a flight that was at like 2:30 today out of Detroit to Chicago. Well, the plane that was flying from Chicago to Detroit was having some malfunctions already this morning. And that's about some malfunctions this morning. And so thankfully I was able to hop on an earlier flight. So I wanted to stay on the show for the entire 2 hours today, but unfortunately unable to do so. But we're going to get back to Lincoln a lot earlier than we originally planned.
Swim, prayers for safe travels to your brother. We will definitely holler at you tomorrow in the studio. And we will catch up with you, man. Travel safe, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, boys. Have a good rest of the show.
You bet. Folks, we'll be back. Me and Rudy G on the 1s and 2s here at 1040 O Street. Dive in. Hang up button. We'll dive in between the numbers with the Nebraska game versus Michigan last night. It's The Drive. Thanks for taking it.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high around 34. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy, a low around 14. And tomorrow, a chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and calm winds, the high near 24. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I love pushing hard at the gym, but the soreness after, not so much. I researched about what to look for in a good red light system, so I tried the Spectrum 7 at Max Tan. The full body red light relaxes and refreshes my muscles. It's part of my recovery routine, Max Tan.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Clear your calendar. It's a volleyball weekend in Omaha. Love Nebraska returns to Baxter Arena for back-to-back home matches on January 30th and February 1st, facing Love Madison and Love Austin. 2 matches, 2 chances to see your hometown team compete as the season heats up. Featuring Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson taking on the likes of Lauren Carlini and Maddie Skinner, and special moments throughout the weekend. This is your opportunity to catch all the action live. Make it one night or both nights. Get your tickets now at lobbneb.com/tickets.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
right, folks, we're back. I want to thank Nick again. Swim calling in from the Detroit airport. Touchdown here in Lincoln later this afternoon. Folks, this segment is brought to you by Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services. Jack has been a well-respected rep since 1999. Jack can help protect your home, your vehicle, your family, even your future. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100 or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or in Seward and learn how Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services can help you. Folks, I'm looking at some of the texts. We'll get to some of these, and obviously a lot of them at 10 o'clock because we're just going to do a sound-off segment. Cole M., good morning, Cole. The final straw for me on the broadcast was when the play-by-play guy asked to give Nick Stauskas to give a player comparison for price, and he said himself. Rudy, when he said that, I'm like, man, what are we listening to, bro?
Yeah, that's something I would say, honestly. That's a comment I make in my living room. Like, oh, yeah, like that. I compare myself to him. Yeah, that's crazy to just fully say on air like that.
That's
too.
dirty work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you say with your boys.
Exactly.
Like you said, in your living room.
Yep.
Not on a nationally televised game, the top 5 team matchup, man. Cole, I'm with you on that. Thunder Not Collins says, when was the last time that the Big Ten had competent and consistent referees? Those guys were booty. And Thunder Not Collins, my neighbor John Squires, he has been ripping them in our texts back and forth to each other. It was pretty bad, I thought. However, though, here's the one thing that I'm glad, though, Rudy. The refs were not the reason why they lost either, though. I would say that. I would say they were a factor, even if you want to feel that way, okay? Because they definitely influenced the game.
Yeah.
I will say that. But you didn't hear Nebraska come out and talk about that.
Yeah.
Because we still did go scoreless for the last 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
As Sanford said, he did go 5 of 16, whatever it was. And Brian on the text line in Huskers P, thank you for correcting me, giving that information. It was 23-4 on the free throw. So, gentlemen, I appreciate that. Forgive me for the error on that earlier at 18-4. It's 23-4 on that. So the disparities, Rudy, were so prevalent, though. You know what I'm saying? It was so prevalent to be that difference. Now, obviously, they had the height advantage and things of that nature. But there were a number of times, even with Jamarcus got mugged one time on a three-pointer, not even called.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't understand, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, too, like you said, too, like they weren't – I think fans are always going to find kind of like a scapegoat here, and that is going to be the refs. Obviously, the 4-23 is going to stand out no matter what you think of what cost them the game. But like you said, like at the end of the game, they still had the ball. They still had the chance. They had a wide-open 3, more or less wide open, that could have gone down. Like they had their chances still throughout the game, and even the entire game. It never seemed like, oh, the refs are ruining what we're watching here. Like they were in it the entire way, just fighting back and forth. And just at the end, it's easier to say, yeah, the refs. I think there was a missed charge call there, but either way, I agree. I think there was more than just the refs that could have won the game for them. Like they were in it, they were fighting. They didn't need the refs, but it would have helped.
Think about this, man. They dang near overcame officiating. 2 of their top scorers out and led for 36 minutes of that game. 36 out of the 40 they led in that game. So Nebraska definitely has nothing to hang their heads about. But I love the way they talked about there's no more victories. And what this reminds me of, now obviously different sport, different context, but same kind of example. And way back in the day when we lost to Florida State in the national championship game, the officiating, those who are old enough to remember that game, the officiating was absolutely atrocious. That gave us a bitter taste in our mouth during the offseason. I know this team doesn't have an offseason. In fact, they got just a few days. They got 3 days until they welcome number 9 Illinois into the vault. So they got to get over this quick. But I think this was a good thing for them because they saw that, you know what, we overcame a lot, went into the number 3 Hornets nest, and dang near walked out of without a victory with suspect officiating, Mass not playing, Frager not playing, and quite honestly, not, like I said, not shooting the best in the second half. First half, it was like, are you freaking kidding me? It was just, they were unconscious. But they still were able to stay within that game, even when the shooting went down a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, it says looking at it here, they finished with 1 3-pointer in the second half there compared to the 10 in the first. Like,
goodness.
I was watching that first half, and like same thing. It just seemed like obviously we're gonna have misses, but it didn't seem like we were getting that many of them. And then come out the second half and 1 for 13 is not ever gonna get it done. 7% of threes in the second half, when that was a huge factor of what was getting you at least some decent separation in the first half. Like that's hard to just not have in the second half at all.
Right. barbecue analyst, Michigan, the Texans of the Big Ten.
Oh, wow.
Rudy.
I don't know about that.
Folks, in case you didn't know, Rudy is from Texas, from San Antonio, so he's a hook 'em horn. We're slowly but surely, we're marinating that orange to turn into red.
Yeah, I tell people back home that I'm a horn husker now, so it all balances it out. I'll cheer for both now. Yeah,
Horn husker.
yeah, I'm there though. I'm there.
I like that. No Texture 8543 says the refs didn't cost us the game, but when there's about 2 minutes left, Michigan only has 4 fouls. Something is fishy. It was a physical game, so in theory, there should be more fouls. Here's a few initial thoughts. What this loss actually means for Nebraska. I looked this up, and there was a lot of good stuff on this particular article and just the background. I just kind of devoured a bunch of newspapers and a bunch of articles, Rudy. Nebraska's legit, folks. That's the first point. Nebraska is legit. You lead a top 3 team on the road for 36-plus minutes. You did it without 2 of your top scorers. It's not a fluke. Rudy, this was a confirmation, man, because nothing from this game says Nebraska came back to earth. This says Nebraska belongs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, too, like, going back into there's no such thing as a good loss or anything like that. I think it says the same the other way, too, obviously. Like you're saying, they didn't just – if they would have gone out there and got blown out and it's like, okay, like, maybe that 20-win run streak wasn't as dominant as we think. But when you're in there the entire time, lose by 3, and like you said, without 2 of your top guys, like, it's not a good loss like they're saying, but it's definitely a loss that you can walk away from not, at least from a fan's perspective, not disappointed at all in the term of the whole grand scheme of things, I think.
And, Rudy, I think you bring up a good point. Had Nebraska goes there and they get blown out, 10, 12, or just even the spread was 12.5.
Yeah.
Let's say that Nebraska doesn't get this. Let's say they end up beating us by 12.5, 15. Then you become like that line from Rocky. Forget which one it is with Mr. T. You a paper champion. You a paper champion. It goes back to that 20 wins. You're thinking, okay, even though it's not because they beat some legit teams.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I said,
absolutely.
they still got 5 quarter one wins in there, so it's not paper by any stretch of the imagination. It's legit. But it just galvanized that this team is for real, and they belong in the national conversation with all the top teams. This wasn't about the margin. This was about the margin and not the gap. Difference wasn't talent. Rudy, looking at these matchups, Nebraska, and I bring this Rocky, this comparison up there, because Rocky, you got Apollo Creed. Have you ever seen the Rocky movies, man?
I have. When I was younger, yes.
When you was younger?
Yeah. It's been a while.
How old are you now, man?
I am 23 now.
23.
So probably when I was about like 7 years old.
So Apollo Creed was he was flamboyant, chiseled, quick. He was fast. That's Michigan.
Okay.
All right, historically. Nebraska's kind of been like the Rocky this year. No respect.
Yeah.
They're beating opponents, but still no respect. But Nebraska showed this was not about a talent gap whatsoever. It wasn't about toughness. It wasn't about preparation. It came down to late game execution in a cold 2-minute stretch and a massive free throw disparity. Yeah. And so, Rudy, this wasn't a separation in class. This was just a razor thin margin and all it was, man.
Yeah. And like you said, too, if some things swing the other way, maybe make a couple more threes, someone's a little more healthier, like that. It was anyone's game to win. And obviously losing by 3 is going to sting. But at the same time, like we've been saying this entire time, it's one that you're not walking away too at least heartbroken by, at least right now. So no, I'm with you.
Like I said, I love the way they said in the post conference, we're going to play those clips at 10. There is no more victories. You didn't hear one of those guys talk about the officiating. That's for us as fans. That's for us as fans to talk about that. And if you start hearing the players, then I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you didn't score with the last 2 minutes of the game. That's the reality. Yeah. There is no questions about that. There's no opinions. No. And you had chances.
Yeah.
Sandiford had one. Jamarcus had one. Mm-hmm. Here's a person I feel if he would have hit some shots, it would have helped us a lot. Now, by no means am I knocking Burke, but, man, there were some bunnies he missed that hurt, man. There were some bunnies that Burke missed that helped. That hurt us. And I'm not coming down on that kid, but with Mast out and both Frager out, you really needed those buckets.
Yeah.
Now, he did hit a big 3 in the first half from the corner. He hit a big 3, had some rebounds, had some blocks, and had some tip-ins. But I think he ended up with 5 points last night.
Yeah.
It'd have been nice to have Burke in the double figures last night, and there were some bunnies that he missed. So there are some things that Nebraska did self-inflicted on their own.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to be one to just run and say, well, the refs cost us this game. No,
exactly.
Not scoring in the last 2 minutes cost you that game. The second half going cold cost you in that game. So there's some things that we can go. I'm never going to say the refs cost you the overall game. Could they influence it? Yes. But I think when you start doing that, you're on a very slippery slope.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always – we have a text on the text line here too saying that hates when the blame's on the ref. It just pushes responsibility and accountability away from the things you can do better. And obviously different sport, but with baseball, they always tell us, like, control what you can control at the end of the day. That's all that matters. And so it's the same thing, like, whether the umpire, whether the ref is making bad calls, bad whistles here and there, it's like you're saying, they had their chances. If some guys would have played a little better, a little stronger, they would have been right in it. I mean, they were in it, obviously, but anything could have swung that the other way if something else would have gone down differently throughout the game.
Absolutely. Unknown text for 7592. I totally agree with you, man. You got to if the refs are that way, you still had the ball in your hands to take control of that game. So never going to just say it was on them because we had our chances. The streak ending, I think it's a blessing in disguise, man. You know, you had 24 straight wins. That creates a lot of noise. Undefeated seasons creates a lot of pressure. That weight's gone now, Rudy. You don't have that, weighing on you. So now defend, share the ball, make shots.
Exactly.
Because that's a lot of pressure, 24 straight games, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said it yesterday to some of my teammates. I was like, if they do drop it, it's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, the perfect season sounds awesome no matter who you are or what you're playing. But like you said, there's so much more pressure going into that. And also, it's not football. It's not college football where 1 or 2 losses are going to take you out of everything, obviously. So they're right. I wouldn't see them dropping too far if they do move. Obviously, it's the loss at the end of the day. But a loss to a top 3, top 5 team is not going to ruin anything for me. Obviously, like you're saying, the 24 win streak they had coming into here, that no matter who you are, you're thinking about that at some extent. You can try to push the noise out, but now it's completely gone. You'd rather have that loss now, adjust what you can adjust, fix from it. Obviously, you know the situation. You didn't have everybody you needed out there. So, I mean, it's a loss, like we've also said. It's not one that you're cool with at the end of the day, but one that you look at all the factors there, and it's acceptable to an extent.
You know, this is funny right here. IQ Crew, worst thing about the Peacock broadcast, when talking about Rink and Braden, just cue to a random white dude in a red jersey. That isn't them. Did you notice that last night?
I did not.
Oh, man. And IQ Crew, I'm with you. Because I'm watching it. I'm like, they're like, yeah, Rinks. And they had it in IQ Crew. They had the camera on them for at least 3 to 5 seconds talking about Rink Maz. Dude, it was not Rink Maz. They had the camera on.
That is hilarious. I did not catch that at all.
Oh, bro, I was sitting there dying, laughing. I'm like, yeah, Rink is not even on the – I didn't even see him on the bench, and I could be wrong. But the dude they were showing was not Rink Maz at all. And it just blew me away. I'm just thinking, folks, you got to know, who is out there, But the like I said, man, Peacock, as Swim mentioned, they schedule who those announcers, play-by-plays are going to be well in advance. But I tell you what, Nisauskas, however you pronounce his last name, the former Michigan guy, when you asked you to compare him to, you say myself. It was just tacky, man. The whole thing was just tacky. It was just tacky. Chris Leininger, what's up, brother? Before we go to break, he goes, the win hurt, especially in the form of leading most of the game and losing at the end. But I was starting to get PTSD for the volleyball season.
Yeah, you rather have it now.
Yeah, an American Nightmare. You're right. That was Curtis. They were showing the big man, and he played good last night, man. They ended up with 4 points last night, 2 in the paint that he got in there. Played some big minutes. That was the most minutes he's played. So it was good to see him out there. Took up some space. Got some, like I said, got some big buckets. For us. I think he ended up with 4 points he ended up with last night?
6.
6
ended
points.
Up with 6, yeah.
6 last night, so contributed. But again, I'll say this, and it goes back to what one of the texters mentioned as well. Yes, it hurt some of the calls, but at the same time, I think Burkay, if he could have gotten the double figures, that could have helped us out tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying we win the game, but I think and granted, first of all, you only lost by 3.
Yeah.
You still lost, but I think if Burkay could have gotten that double figure area, that maybe swings the pendulum towards Nebraska a little bit. And of course, as Sanford said, he went 5 of 16. One of those drops, Jamarcus, a few of his maybe drops in the second half. That changes it around as well. So all of these things, at the end of the day, Nebraska still had it within their control to still win this game. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was glad I didn't hear, to me, I almost said Swim, Rudy. It's an easy cop-out to say the refs took this game from us. No, man, take ownership. Which I was glad to hear they did that. We're going to have some clips at 10 o'clock. Again, At 10 o'clock to 11, 10:45, it's sound off. You can call in, text in. We're going to be reading these texts. This is a huge game, and that's why we're going to spend the majority of the time about it. Of course, we know Nebraska's football schedule came out. We'll discuss a lot of that tomorrow. We might breeze over that towards the end, but for sure a lot about that tomorrow. And look, believe me, after seeing that schedule, Rudy, I can wait another day before I talk about it.
Yep, I agree.
Also, tomorrow we'll get into the Belichick. Belichick, it's just mind-blowing, Rudy. Might even talk a little bit about that towards the end because I'm still mind-blown that he was not a first-ballot Hall of Famer. And it seems like there were a consortium of about 10 guys that just wanted to stick it to him, man. And if that's what's going on, the NFL's really got to reevaluate who are the folks that are voting in for Hall of Famer because that was atrocious. That was terrible, man. Like the Patriots or not, like Bill or not, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Folks, it's The Drive. We'll be right back.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing.
And electrical.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who serve today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all of your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free thanks to the brave.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, 2500 down with proof credit.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, we are back. We are back. Quick history segment. We're just going to dive right into Nebraska basketball with the history segment part of it again. 24-game streak comes to an end. Rudy, everything Nebraska basketball has done and is doing has been history. We have never seen this. When I was in school, it was Strickland, Terrence Badgett, Jerome Boone, and that crew, if I can talk right, that had a heck of a run. Obviously, adding Teron Lue in that part of it as well, that had a run. But this has been a special run for Nebraska basketball. Something that stood out to me last night in the press, and we're going to play this when we come back on the other side, was Fred mentioning how he likes this team's makeup and just how they just battled through. Yeah. And they showed that time and time again yesterday. And again, Rudy, I'm going to say this. When you're up 11 points, don't give up the 11-point lead.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's going to sound crass and that's going to sound, almost cutthroat, but that's the way it is. When you get a lead in the beehive in someone else's court, you got to sustain that lead. And granted, I know things happen in basketball. They switch back and forth and teams come back. In Michigan, they're 3 for a reason. But at the same time, like I said, with everything we can mention on the other side, Nebraska still had it within their own control to win that game.
Yeah. And same thing, the way you just said, too, like Michigan is 3 for a reason. Nebraska's 5 for a reason, too. And I think they've done that all year. Obviously, against the better opponents, they're going to play closer games, which is kind of how you expect these things to go now. But like you said, you're a top 5 team for a reason just as well. Like those are the wins you have to protect going into it. And I do think they kind of started slipping off towards the end, obviously missing shots and just not sloppy play, but just Michigan started getting some comebacks in there, and it just looked like they couldn't stop them throughout it, really.
I would go as far as to say some of it was uncharacteristic sloppy at Nebraska at times, something we hadn't seen much. But when you have better competition, they're going to expose some things a little bit more too. And Nebraska there were some different times down court. It was uncharacteristically unlike Nebraska basketball we've seen this past year. So there were some trips down court. You kind of scratch your head like, I don't know about that one. There was even some shots that you're kind of like, yeah, probably should have took that one. But that happens. Like I said, those are growing pains, even 21 games into the season as far as that goes. But Nebraska, like I said, they showed a lot of mettle last night. They showed a lot of moxie. And again, I'll say this word again. They showed a ton of poise. Like I said, they went into that place, two of the best guys down. And they still, like I said, they still held their poise in that game last night. So 24, the streak is finally over. And as we discussed earlier, that releases a lot of pressure, in my opinion, too, because you no longer have to worry about, they're keeping this thing going alive from last year. No, that part's done as far as that goes. But this season, still wide open. One game does not define you. It's what they do next. And I like the fact, Rudy, that you're playing number 9 on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely like a nice bounce back test. Obviously, you're going to be the higher ranked team going into that, but that doesn't really matter when you're that close, I think, in terms of 5 to 9, 7 to 9, wherever it may land up. But I think it is going to be something too. Like now the fans are watching even more, I would say. Like obviously we're all hyped up for the streak and obviously wanted to go on longer. That's not the problem here. But now it's like, okay, you did just get punched in the mouth. Like this is where you kind of see if that top 5 team is going to bounce back like they need to. And I agree. I think it's a good matchup, good time to have it too.
Absolutely. I think it's a response game more than a rebound game, and you'll have Mass back, possibly Frager back on Sunday as well. But I'm most likely, unless this bug that I'm dealing with, that Mass is dealing, there's a lot of junk going around out there right now. So when I am done with the radio, rest assured I will not be talking much the rest of the day at all, man. I'm going to shut it down for the most part. So when we come back, folks, we got some presser bites we want to play for you. We'll be reading a lot of your texts just to sound off. If you want to call in too, you can. 402-464-5685. Again, that's 402-464-5685. We want to hear from you on the Sound Off segment. That's what we're going to discuss at the top of the hour. We'll be back. It's a drive.
Clear your calendar. It's a volleyball weekend in Omaha. Love Nebraska returns to Baxter Arena for back-to-back home matches on January 30th and February 1st, facing Love Madison and Love Austin. 2 matches, 2 chances to see your hometown team compete as the season heats up. Featuring Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson taking on the likes of Lauren Carlini and Maddie Skinner, and special moments throughout the weekend. This is your opportunity to catch all the action live. Make it one night or both nights. Get your tickets now at lobbneb.com/tickets. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who serve today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all of your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free thanks to the brave.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with a bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, $2,500 down with proof credit.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, we're back. As promised, we got some clips post-game yesterday from Ann Arbor. Nebraska falls 75-72 to Michigan, number 3 ranked Michigan. A few of the context that matters, kind of the big picture before we get into Coach First loss of the season, which is mind-blowing, Rudy, being it's January 27th when they did it. 75-72. Led for more than 36 minutes of yesterday's match. But Michigan, and here's the key, as we talked about, RG, Michigan closed the game on a 10-2 run. 10-2 run.
Yeah, I know there was a graphic that popped up, and it was like 0 points in the last 3 minutes or so for Nebraska. Towards the end of the game, obviously, with like 30 seconds left, whatever it may have been. And I turned to my roommate, and I was like, yeah, like that. Obviously, I wasn't keeping up with that exact, how many points have they scored in the last couple moments? But then I saw that, and I looked at him, and I was like, everything makes sense now. Like, especially that you're on the road. Once that home team just gets that environment behind them, they're scoring buckets 10 in a row right there. It probably feels so much more impossible than it looks, more than anything, really.
Absolutely. The loss snaps Nebraska's 24-game winning streak, that first defeat since March 9th of 2025. Their first loss, that just seems weird talking about Nebraska basketball in that, Rudy.
Yeah.
First time since March 9th of 2025. Of course, the context matters. Rienk Mast missed because he was ill. We all know that. Frager was out second straight game, ankle. Kel Jacobson earned his first start of the season, scored Nebraska's first bucket. The game turned. Before we get into the game turned, let's hear from Coach last night.
1 second. There we go.
Half our pace was great, our movement. I did think we ran out of gas a little bit in the second half. And, if we make our layups, I think we win this game. And, I thought Sam made a hell of a play at the end, getting his feet outside the paint, getting established for a couple seconds and, taking one on the chest. But unfortunately, they didn't give us the call. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do in that situation. But, our guys, again, they fought through adversity. They battled. And listen, that team is projected by a lot of people to win a national championship.
Hold that there real sec, Rudy. He mentioned, I'm not sure what Sam is supposed to do in that situation. Sam did exactly what he was supposed to do in that situation. I seen someone on X last night say, well, he was sliding his foot at the last second. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, kind of after looking deeper, he was a Michigan guy. I'm like, of course
there you go.
What did you think on that charge call?
Yeah, no, I thought they missed that. I especially like how Nick kind of said it earlier. Obviously, the game shouldn't dictate what kind of calls you're going to make, but late in the game right there, I think that was a pretty obvious call. I don't know if maybe the ref just had a different angle from the back end maybe, but I thought it was a missed call there. I thought he set up fine. I thought took it like he should have. So I do think they missed that one, really.
Well, the gentleman that made the shot even looked surprised that he didn't get charged for a goal. He was kind of like, word? I'm going to get away with this? Nevertheless, it is what it is. Let's hear more what else the coach has to say.
Braden, you got no Rienk, you got no Oogie, you got no Connor, and you fight them all the way to the finish and you lose by a basket. I mean, that shows the character of our team, and it also shows that we can compete with anybody in the country. And, I told them in the locker room, we haven't had this feeling in a long time. It's been almost a year since we have had that dejected feeling in a locker room. And they were hurt. They were hurt by it. We've responded great when we've had a big emotional win. And now we're going to find out what we're made of and how we're going to respond to a tough loss like that. But, listen, that just proved, I think, hope to everybody, most importantly to those guys in the locker room, that we can compete with anybody in this country. I mean, they were all over us, and we turned it over 11 times. And we forced that team into 19 turnovers. That's unbelievable.
Rudy, in your opinion, the text line, let me know what you think as well. I'm going to read a lot of these texts. 402-464-5685. You can text in, call in. 402-464-5685. He mentioned it proved to a lot of people, in particular the guys in that locker room, they can compete, not just in the Big Ten, Rudy, with anybody.
Yeah.
And I think last night, and I said this earlier when we had some of the line, I think, and just read the tea leaves and across the different newspapers that I read this morning, there's a national sentiment almost for Nebraska basketball. It seems that way. I can't speak nationally, but just by read the tea leaves, that people are saying, wow, this team's legit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, too, like, as someone who is not a born Husker fan and all, I've had to be won over a couple times. I've been saying that to my friends here. I'll become a Husker fan when I feel like they've deserved it for some things. Some sports I'm still not there yet. But basketball last night, I think I was talking to my roommate again, and we were just saying, like they're not a team that's going to go out there and they have just some made superstar who's going to take over and do it. Like, they're such a scrappy team. And I think that's something that, similar to Indiana, a lot of people do love seeing, like, these guys just band together even last night in the loss, it was like it didn't look like there was a good team and a bad team on the court. It was like both teams are just going at it, and I think people are starting to realize like they can hang with these big dogs. They were hanging with them for 36 minutes where they were holding that game in their hands, and I think it is something that the Husker fans, the players themselves, like you said, they are realizing like they are made for this. But I do think, like you're saying, nationally they're starting to get talked about for the right reasons, and I'm glad it's happening. They deserved it. Obviously, you want to see them do more with the rest of the season they have, but I think there's a reason they're getting the following right now. So I'm bought in.
Absolutely. I like it. Let's hear what else Coach has to say.
Believable on the road to go out and play that way. And I thought they played really well. So, for our guys, it should be a confidence builder to know that we can do it. Got to get past this one and move on and have 3 great days going into Illinois.
I like the fact where he says move on, because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because, Rudy, here's the reality. Illinois is not forget about how you snatched one from them at home earlier this year. And they lost one of the worst ways that you can lose to, with just a dagger with 1.2, whatever what was left on that clock in that game. And the way that Nebraska, Jamarcus hits that dagger, the 3 to end the game for them. Illinois does not give a flying rat's tail about what happened in Ann Arbor last night.
Yeah.
They're going to come in this game thinking, you know what? We want to do the same thing to them what they did to us on our home court. Sunday, 3 p.m., FS1, that place is going to be rocking. Me personally, I'm curious to see how Nebraska is going to respond. Not rebound. I think when you say rebound, this is just me. You've done with it was just like you just got absolutely just destroyed the previous game. I want to see how they respond. That's why I think there's a difference, because responding means, okay, that was a tight one. Let's respond to this. So I think for me personally, it's more of a respond game than a rebound game, because Nebraska was right there, but they better have a short memory.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree too. I said it earlier how like probably used the wrong words there when I said they got punched in the mouth yesterday. Obviously, like you're saying, the same concept of it's not a rebound, it's a response. I think they did take a hit yesterday, but in the exact same breath, it's like, okay, like now go show that whatever happened, and now you can go take down another top 10 team. But I also think on the flip end, obviously, I don't think anyone thought Nebraska was going to be just some perfect season. Not that they were going to have a loss like in a bad way, but you just got to be realistic here. They are banding together. They're losing some guys just throughout the season right now. But I think for Illinois on the flip end, they're probably seeing like, okay, like there are some holes in this game we can't exploit. So I am looking forward to this game, absolutely, as everybody else is. But I think Illinois probably got some fire behind them too, like you're saying. So it'll be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. We got some more on there too from the
yes,
players.
Yeah, we got him on Frager or Max. I'll let you pick.
Let's play Frager first. On Frager.
Yep.
We made that decision about an hour before the plane, before we took off. He worked out, and not a setback, but it didn't feel perfect. And we got too much of a season left to make this a lingering issue, so we made the decision to leave him home. You have 2 flights. It has a chance of blowing up a little bit, then setting him back. So we're going to do everything we can to get him ready for next Sunday.
And see, I think there was someone who texted in of why not have Frager there with you on the bench for support. That's a lot of walking around.
Yeah,
unnecessary walking around. Now, granted, to your point, texture, I'm not sure who it was that asked that, so I apologize. It would have been nice to have him on the bench if obviously if it's a home game, he's there, of course. But, that's a lot of up and down walking around, and you want that guy off that leg as much as possible. Obviously, it'd been nice for him to support his team from the sideline, but, man, again, you don't need that extra miles on that leg if you want it to heal, so you want him to rest that as much as he possibly can, hence why he did not make the trip up to Ann Arbor with the team. Text message before we hop on the next ones. Big Bird. Our odds at sports books to make the final for actually improved. They definitely did improve. I think it's +5 something right now.
Yeah.
Went from +750 to +500 on their Big Bird. Yes, unknown texter 6696 good. A game on a normal channel. I can't stress how much I was disappointed in the coverage last night. Normally, I'm like, hey, if it's Big Ten plus, those are students. Doing the sideline reporting. So I'm always giving some grace, because Lord knows I need a lot of it on the mic, But when it's a top 5 matchup, and granted, as Swim mentioned, we know this, they designate those games well before. But I hope that Peacock takes a long look in the future when they're doing games like that, not to have an alum on there if he can't separate his alum status
Yeah.
to the game at hand and call it objectively, because that was ridiculous last night. It was just bad. I mean, it was like you thought these were two rec teams playing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think too, like, obviously I've always enjoyed when there's like some type of bias to an extent. But yeah, when it's kind of just from like a very personal point, it's like, okay, like that you're gonna have the Husker fans tuning in. Not even like, oh, let's not hurt feelings. It's not even one of those things. It's like
Right.
you just gotta cater to both sides here. We didn't really get much of that last night.
Yeah, you didn't get it all. My
Yeah.
man said, who'd you compare him to? My man Nixon. Me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what? What are you
crazy.
talking about, man? Unknown texter 6566 says the biggest takeaway in the past, see A&M, we struggled with long athletic teams. Last night, down 2 top players, and you showed we belong in the teams in the national title conversation. As for the game, we had opportunities. You're exactly right. At the basketball and didn't convert, it's over, so learn from it and then refocus on Sunday. Can't wait to be in PBA on Sunday. Unknown texter 6566, you are spot on. They had their chances. You know, they definitely had opportunities because reality is this: Michigan, they took care of theirs.
Yeah.
10-2 run to end the game. So we definitely had our opportunities. They had to convert. And to your point, 65-66, unknown texture, Nebraska's got a great response game. And I'm glad it's another top-ranked team, in the top 10, because then you can't relax in this game.
Yeah.
And because they're going to have a chip on their shoulder because what you did to them at Champaign earlier this year, they're going to come in here ready to do the same thing to you.
Yeah, no, I like it too. Obviously if they would have had an unranked opponent this weekend, it would have still meant something as far as how you respond. But yeah, you get a chance to go out there and kind of prove that you're exactly who you think you are and everyone's saying you are. So I love it. I'll be tuned in. I'll be here working, but I'll be tuned in.
You say Hornhusker?
I am a Hornhusker, yeah. I'm a proud one too now. So football's got to win me over a little bit more. But
I think they got to win a lot of people
yeah,
over still.
yeah. But basketball, volleyball, I'm there.
So let me ask you this, Rudy. What would the logo look like if you did a Hornhusker? Like one
All
horn
right.
out of an N?
I'd probably do like the longhorn head, but instead of the horns, I'd make them like corn husks. I think that's what I'd be going for. That's where I'd be right now.
Oh, man. Culligan Jay, what's up, brother? He goes, I want to hear you talk about McCarthy. I did talk a little bit about him yesterday, and we'll discuss. I'll tell you this, Culligan Jay, I definitely will talk more about him tomorrow when we hop in the NFL talk with this the horrible, horrible slight on Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, which was just it's just mind-boggling, man. That's some serious hate right there. Overall, though, I'll say this, Culligan Jay, I do like the hire. I would have preferred someone maybe a little bit younger. However, with that being said, I do not mind the Mike McCarthy hire for the Steelers, man. From his offensive mind, maybe there's a chance that Rodgers comes back. My thing is, just regardless of Rodgers comes back or not, I just like the offensive philosophy that McCarthy brings. And Rudy, here's one thing that I shared yesterday: McCarthy and Harbaugh have basically identical records. Harbaugh that was down with the Giants, their records are almost identical, very similar in age. And you see the reception in New York. Obviously, if Pittsburgh would have hired Harbaugh, they'd be like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
Well, he's got the same record as he has the same record as McCarthy.
Yeah.
So it shows you the branding and the packaging and relevancy when you were last, coaching plays a huge factor in that as well. But overall, I know there's mixed emotions about it, but my personal feelings on it, Culligan Jay, I don't mind the hire because I like the offensive philosophy that he brings. And he was successful, obviously, in Super Bowl in Green Bay. He was successful in Dallas at times. Well, the offense did, but we all know, Pete Ferguson, this is no disrespect, bro, but we know the dysfunction that exists in Dallas as far as management in the front office goes. So I do like the management with the hiring that Khan and Mr. Rooney brought in McCarthy. Let's play that next clip if we could.
Fred, when did you know that Rink wasn't going to be available, and obviously how much did that impact the strategy going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, about 12 minutes before tip, he said, I went in and talked to him. I said, "What do you think?" He just said, "Coach, I can't do it." He said, "I got no energy." He couldn't keep anything down. I mean, even sips of water, he couldn't keep down. So it's unfortunate, but I give our guys all the credit in the world for the fight that they showed in that game from start to finish. And you're giving up. You got Cale Jacobson out there guarding Morez Johnson at 6'10", and built like a Greek god, and Cale battled him every step of the way.
He's talking about rank mass on there, and it goes to what Nick said, Rudy, to where he just said, man, he just looked lethargic. Normally, Rink has got a little
Yeah.
pep in his step. And from what Coach explained there, he's probably even less than 60% as far as that goes, man. Let me see right here. So as far as that goes, and for Rink not to be able to play and just say, Coach, I just don't got it. That dude is seriously hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And if he has that, like I said, he couldn't hold anything down. Trying to run up and down the court, not being able to hold anything down would not. I mean, he would have hurt us rather than helped us last night.
Yeah.
Being out there in a much bigger Michigan team as far as that goes, as far as height across the board, you don't got any energy. You can't keep anything down. You've got none in your system to even fall back on it for energy as far as that goes. So, and that trip for him, even trying it, hence why I'm glad Frager did not make the trip. That wears you out too.
Oh yeah.
Travel wears you out healthy, as you can hear from me speaking right now, because I didn't have any of this stuff until I got back from Orlando.
Yeah.
So it wears on you. So I can understand why he declined. He said, look, I just don't got anything in there right now, man. I got nothing left. We got another one as well.
We got one from Dusty May on Nebraska without mask.
Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, each team's different. For us, to be honest, if they would have had two big guys, I think we probably would have guarded them a little better in the first half than we did. Obviously, they're not near as good of a basketball team, but I do think they're probably more challenging to guard especially with Lawrence playing the way he did, Hoiberg, Sanford, and then Jacobson came in and played really, really good basketball. So, the cumulative effect of them losing him is obviously a big deal, but in a one possession situation, they're very difficult to guard with them, and they're extremely difficult to guard without them. Felt like there were several instances where we just let our
Dusty May, Michigan's head coach, talking about obviously without our two big men. Let me ask you this, Rudy. Now, obviously, this can go all over the place. Does Nebraska win that game if Mass is healthy?
I would like to think so, but I also do think kind of how he said about the first half, like they didn't really have a good idea of what they were trying to defend there. So I think maybe if the game pans out the way it does, I would like to think at the end of the game it probably does make a better difference than I think. But I do think a big part of that too was like they had to find an identity without him in that first half, and then obviously throughout the second half too. But I don't know. I would like to hope so. With one of your better players being in there, you'd probably do pull it out, like having another big man down there. As we saw, Burke was it looked like he was just getting exhausted by the end of that game. He had 35 minutes or so last night. So, I mean, maybe take some load off some other guys, but I would like to hope so. That's where I'm at.
I think personally, if Mass plays in that game, I think we win that game. I think Mass and Frager playing. Now, granted, we're going by the body of work. Anything can happen any given night. I mean, they could have both went over as far as it goes, but it's not likely. It's definitely not likely. I personally feel that we win that game if Mass is playing. That's neither here or there. We're just asking hypothetically, just for the sake of conversation. I think Nebraska does get that game because on the rebounds where they hurt us at times, you have another bigger body that are in there as far as that goes. So Leo Curtis, of course, came in, played some minutes, but I would even say there were times that Leo, being as, like I said, not having a lot of minutes prior to that, there's some rebounds that got past him that probably are not getting past Mass.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to say this. I love Burke like crazy, but man, 5 points is not going to cut it. We needed, he went 2 of 9 yesterday, so we need Burke to step up big time, I would say, going out the rest of the season, especially when you didn't have Mass in there and Frager, but particular Mass. Burke, there were some bunny shots, meaning easy shots that he didn't get down last night. And again, by no means I'm placing this on him. I'm placing because we know where he's capable of doing. That's the part right there to where he's capable of doing it. So Burke, I think if Burke gets throw Mass out of it, throw Frager out of it, I think if Burke gets the double digits as far as total points, I think this game has a different background, different turnout as far as that goes. 2 of 9 is not going to cut it. But you look at the scoring before we come back. We'll listen more of the text messages. But Burke ended up with 5, Price at 20, Sam at 13, Jamarcus at 20, Kel Jacobson at 8, and then Leo Curtis chipped in his 6. So you figure, man, if Burke could get in a double, I really think this changes the pendulum of this game. Folks, when we come back, we'll read some more text messages, briefly go over Nebraska's 2026. Lord have mercy, Rudy. There was one particular team on there. I forgot. This is going to sound crazy, but I forgot they played. But We'll come back. We'll discuss it. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air,
and electrical.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Dinner and a movie? You've done that. Arbor Axe House has a date night deal that really hits. This Valentine's Day, enjoy a special rate that includes an hour of axe throwing for two, plus drinks and koozies. Reserve your lane today at arbораxe.com. Arbor Axe House, on the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high around 34. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy, a low around 14. And tomorrow, a chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and calm winds, the high near 24. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans, let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, we are back. Rudy, I can't believe I forgot this. I was going to say it during the history segment. Those who are old enough to remember 1986, it was on this day 40 years ago that the Challenger, the Space Shuttle Challenger, exploded. And text line, let me know what you were doing and how old you were when that happened, January 28th, 1986. I was at Clinton Elementary School in the fifth or sixth grade. I just remember we were in the media center in the library. That's what we used to call them back in the day, the media. They still call them the media centers?
I have no idea what that is, so probably not.
Probably not. But I remember watching that text line. Let me know where you were at when if you were alive in 1986, as far as that goes. But I remember, man, Henry Big Hank, Big Hank, he goes, I was minus 8 months. Thomas and Lincoln, not even a thought. Big Ty was homesick on the couch. And you know what? Again, it was 40 years ago today that horrible tragedy took place, the Challenger exploded. Chris McCullough was an educator, was on there. That whole crew, there was a lot of firsts for that whole crew. In fact, let me put this on here, crew of the Challenger.
Yeah, a lot of all the middle schools in my school district back home actually are all named after, or at least a couple of them are named after some of the people that were on that, actually.
Really?
I went to Francis R. Scobie Middle School.
Which middle school did you go to?
Scobie. Francis R. Scobie, I think is the name.
I like that. Yeah. I remember for me growing up, you didn't see a lot of brothers as astronauts. And Ronald McNair was one of the astronauts, but all the astronauts on there, Commander Francis Scobie is what his name is, Dick Scobie, pilot Michael J. Smith, mission specialist Ellison S. Onuzoka, mission specialist Judith Resnick, and mission specialist Ronald E. McNair, and payload specialist Gregory B. Jarvis, and payload specialist Krista McCullough, a high school teacher from New Hampshire. But that was just such a horrible tragedy that took place. William Pate was 10 years old, sitting in the elementary class at Crescent Harbor Elementary School in Washington, watching when it happened. William Pate, appreciate it. Matt, I was 13 years old, middle school in Rosalie, Nebraska. Rosalie, Nebraska. I can still remember the TV on the big stand, and they had to roll it in. American Nightmare goes, I wasn't born for another 13 years. David Freehoff, what's up, brother? He goes, I was sitting in Mrs. Pierce history class, sophomore year at Lincoln High. David and Rude, like I said, I can still remember that, man, the media center there at Clinton Elementary School when that went down and happened. A few more of the text on here. Yes, good game. It's going to be on a normal channel. We read that. IQ Cruz says the loss makes me think of the volleyball team. Good thing the streak is over, but get to play it again. Squires hit me up too. I appreciate John Squires. We had a group text going back and forth, our one-on-one text going back and forth. And he has a good point in here where he mentions, this game against Illinois is going to be just as big, can be just as big as Michigan, because this is going to show your mettle, who you are. You know what I'm saying, Rudy? Mm-hmm. Because, you got, and to your point, you said punch in the face. It felt like a punch in the face. Yeah. Not in score, but it felt like you were punched in the gut because you were right there. I truly feel this game is monumental because I think this game can really, after a loss, because Nebraska's never had a loss before this year. You know what I'm saying? Haven't lost since March of last year.
Yeah.
So I think this game can be very revealing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those ones that obviously I don't think in their locker room right now things are probably spiraling at all by any means, but I think you lose this one, then you're kind of reaching, you're kind of okay, like let's find out our footing. But if you just go out there, take care of business, it ends all that potential noise. Your fans feel a little more comfortable. And obviously, like a lot of our text line is saying they're not worried, but I think you maybe drop 2 in a row like that, then it's kind of going to be a little tougher for you to kind of not prove who you are, but at least have that fight in you that everyone thinks you do. And I'm sure they still will, win or lose, but I think it's one that, like you're saying, it's just as monumental as the Michigan game is.
You know, Nebraska takes on Illinois on Sunday. The rematch from the 83-80 win from back in December in Champaign. Tip-off is at 3, of course, at Pinnacle Bank. FS1, thank God. It's going to be on a different network as far as that goes. Rudy, before we go to our break, we got some time to discuss. I want to get your – I'll get Nick's tomorrow. I want to get yours. I'm going to read through. And I want you to put – this is Nebraska's 2026 schedule. And I want you to simply just say win or loss.
All right.
Ohio, September 5th.
Yeah, I should be able to win.
Bowling Green, September 12th. North Dakota.
Should be a win. I know they're a little sneaky team, but should be a win.
At Michigan State.
Ooh. They got me there. I don't know.
Will you hear woof?
I want to. Then they got Maryland after.
Rudy.
I'll probably
Michigan
say it's a loss.
State.
I'll probably say it's a loss.
All right. Maryland.
I want to think they pull off the Maryland one this year. Yeah.
Indiana at home.
That'll be a loss.
At Oregon.
A loss.
Washington home.
I could see that one being a win. I'll go win.
At Illinois.
Probably another loss.
At Rutgers.
Win.
Home against Ohio State.
My birthday, so I hope they can win, but probably a loss.
At Iowa.
That one, I'll give them a win there. It'll sway, so I'll go win.
So what's the record you came up with there?
Let's see. I got 1 Iowa win, 1 Rutgers win, Washington, Maryland. So I got them going 7-5, I believe is what I've finished up with here. You got the first 3, and you got Maryland, Washington. I gave them Rutgers and Iowa. So yeah, 7-5 is where I think we could probably be, but I don't know. I'm not too confident in some of these. It's just a different team they're putting out there this year. Hopefully, I mean, it could swing the other way, but I'm not too confident right now. No Emmett Johnson, obviously. You got TJ Lateef back there. Still got to not prove it, but still got to prove it.
Well, I would say so.
Yeah, still got to prove it.
I would say so.
Yeah, you got all these new coaching hires. I don't know. I'm not too confident right now.
I'm going to speak on yours in a second. This is Chad and Kyle, Texas. Chad and Kyle, Texas. I was a freshman at Waller High School in biology class, and one of our VPs came and told us. That was tough, man. That was tough. This is Neil. Neil from Galveston. Good morning. Sounded like the Michigan coach talking about May. Dusty May was making a bit of an excuse for not winning by a bigger margin. It did kind of seem that way, Rudy. Just like,
that's where I thought he was going, and it sounded like he was.
I tell you what, Neil, it sounded the same to me that he was saying that. I was just kind of like, huh. I'm putting that in the middle Rolodex from Nebraska, the other team. Like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. David says 4-8. Freeoff says 4-8. Big Ty says, I think this year 9 wins. I think this is the year 9 wins. Lock in down. Okay. American Nightmare Calandria could be the starter over Lateef.
Yeah.
You know what? Thomas Lincoln says blowout with Ohio State and Iowa. He says 5-7. Here's why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't know what this team is going to look like.
Yeah.
But I do know what Ohio State's going to look like. I do know what Iowa's going to look like. I do know what Oregon's going to look like. Well, Indiana's another one, though, because they lose a lot of people.
They are. Who did they bring in as their quarterback this year? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know who they brought in. You have to look that up.
I think they're going to be fine.
I don't think Indiana will drop off much, but they do lose a lot of people.
They did get Josh Hoover from TCU.
That's right.
Yeah, that
that's
guy.
Right.
I like
Josh
that
Hoover.
guy a lot.
That's right.
Too.
That's
so,
right.
I don't know. They're gonna have some holes to fill for sure. Obviously, you're losing a Heisman quarterback anyways. So, but yeah, I still got Nebraska losing to them here. Be a good game.
It should be a good game. Rudy, I just don't know. And we'll dive in more of this tomorrow, too. I just don't know. Big Bird, yes, a TCU QB. Thank you much, brother. I just don't know what this team's going to look like for Nebraska, man. Yeah. I do. Now, here's what I do like. I do like the offensive linemen we brought in from Iowa State, South Carolina, LSU. I do like the guys we brought in. I do like that aspect of it. Calandria, as people mentioned, what his upside will be, we don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you have Latif that's back. You have unproven running backs in Mackay and Mosey, but showed flashes, particularly Mackay. You got Jacory that's going to be back. You got some receivers that'll be back. I think it's new coach. I think the thing for me, Rudy, is just a lot of new and not knowing how it's going to mesh. Yeah. My thing is I want to see it, but this schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
This schedule will be brutal. But with that being said, Nebraska's not going to have long before they find out who they are. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's the beautiful side of it, because the reality is this. Ohio is not going to be a pushover, in my opinion. Bowling Green, that's the thing. Eddie George ran team now. Eddie George, I believe, is that Bowling Green, their head coach. Just from a sheer talent standpoint, you should take care of business. But I think about, I'm sorry, but I'm scarred. I think about that bugaboo against Minnesota last year, where the talent disparity was heavily favored towards Nebraska and Minnesota. You saw a Minnesota team pushing Nebraska football team around like they were nothing. Pat Fitzgerald from Michigan State. That's going to be a very different Michigan State team. Yeah. You can bank on that. That is going to be a very different team. Maryland, you got their coach that most likely is probably coaching for his job this year.
Yeah.
He's probably coaching for his job. And I don't think he's a terrible coach. I think where he's recruiting at is awfully tough. And now, as far as recruiting for him, it got a lot tougher because you got Franklin, that's the coach of Virginia Tech now, that's snatching a lot of his players out of Maryland. So his job got a lot tougher there in Maryland. And I can go, Indiana, don't even say anything about it. Oregon, of course, at Oregon. There'll be the Raiola factor in there. Not that he's playing, but just the fact that that's where he's at right now. Really, let me ask you this. I don't get a chance to ask you this. Do you think some fans fixated too much on Raiola when he left instead of just saying, hey, he's not here anymore, best luck, goodbye? What's your feelings on it?
Yeah, I think so for a little bit, but I also think it's because a lot of people here that I've obviously just spoken to, I think a lot of people kind of put a lot of pressure on him, but in turn, they always had like this kind of image of who they thought he was going to be. Like a lot of my teammates at Wesleyan, a lot of my friends, like they speak so highly of Raiola for like, oh, well, he got us here. He got us the bowl game. So I think a lot of that's just attached to the bar that he kind of did. I don't think the bar was super high, but when you're bringing it up from the floor, you're obviously going to look a little better. So I think a lot of them is like missing him and probably a nostalgic factor, if that makes any sense. Like you kind of miss him and as a person and what he was doing, but I think at that point you got to let it go. It's not the end of the world, really. You can go get some more people now, figure it out. But from the outsider's perspective, I wouldn't have spent too much time missing him, honestly, if he was a Longhorn, really. So that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, I think some fans held on to it a little bit too much still. But it'll be fun when he comes next year if he's still there. So if he's still there.
It'll be an interesting thing. Rudy, my philosophy like this with players is like this, man. When they're gone, I wish you the best. It's next. Yeah. I just don't waste a lot of energy. It's something you can't change. What's done is done. Best of luck to you, kid. Next man up. Folks, we come back. We got the 80 attitude adjustment. Like I said, that Nebraska football schedule, we'll talk about it more tomorrow and break it down. Also, man, the absolute slap in the face to Bill Belichick. And when we come back, I do want to get Rudy's take on that to get his before tomorrow as well. We'll be back. It's The Drive.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Dinner and a movie? You've done that. Arbor Axe House has a date night deal that really hits. This Valentine's Day, enjoy a special rate that includes an hour of axe throwing for 2 plus drinks and koozies. Reserve your lane today at arboraxe.com. Arbor Axe House on the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high around 34. Tonight, a slight chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy, a low around 14. And tomorrow, a chance of snow, otherwise mainly cloudy and calm winds, the high near 24. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together. And let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, we are back. We are back. This wonderful Wednesday. Rudy, I appreciate you riding with me, man. Thank you for carrying me, man. This is told you when I get home, man, I'm not gonna talk much. Mark was on the text line, was saying, "Yeah, man, you gotta go home. I'm just gonna go home and drink some tea, and I'm not gonna talk at all, man." I canceled a lot. I had 3 Zooms set up for today that I'm gonna have to put the kibosh on one for sure, man. I gotta rest. Nebraska takes on Northwestern tonight in women's basketball, 7 p.m. Rudy, they took care of business last weekend. I think was that Illinois they beat on last Saturday?
Let me pull it up for you real quick.
It's Illinois, Minnesota. I think it was Illinois. I could be wrong on that.
Things moving slow here. Yeah, it was Illinois, 81-75.
Yeah, they beat them pretty well, and they needed that. I think from a psychological standpoint. And Northwestern is another team they should beat handedly tonight. Mm-hmm. I think Northwestern. What are they? 8-12 or something like that. I
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a team they should take care of tonight. Be on Big Ten Plus. So the Husker ladies will tip off at 7 p.m. against the Northwestern Wildcats tonight on that. Rudy, the snub, before I get into 80 attitude adjustment, I want to get what was your initial thoughts? Did you think you were looking at a parody account when it came across that Belichick was not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I definitely did. I was, again, in the living room. Me and my roommate spent a lot of time in the living room just talking sports. So that's where most of my stories are going to be. But we were out there and I asked him, I was like, there's no way this is real. Like, and then we just kept going and it was like, yeah, like I'm a Packers fan. So obviously like I've never been a Patriots fan. I've always just kind of despised those guys. They're a little too good for me. But at the same time, it's like there's just some people you just got to respect to any extent based on what they've done. And I know there's this whole, oh, he's nothing without Brady type of argument. But at the end of the day, like they were a duo. They were a package duo. He has the 6 Super Bowl champions as the head coach. Like I think it is a huge snub. I think it's kind of embarrassing, honestly, in my extent. Like there's not many coaches you can think of off the top of your head that have the accolades that he does, the success he does. And I just think it's crazy. I don't know of many other coaches that are going to be after him that could be first ballots over him. That would make much more sense to me. So hopefully, if no one else is, I don't know. If Bill's not, I don't know who else could be. Really.
Dude's got 8 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing about it, and here's why I don't like the whole if he doesn't have Brady's nothing. Well, Mike Holmgren for the Packers wouldn't have been nothing without Brett Favre. Okay, then Andy Reid's nothing without Mahomes. I can go on and on.
Yep.
That's dumb. That's who their quarterback is.
Exactly.
That's who their quarterback is. And they got 6 Super Bowls together. And he had 2 prior to it. So I always thought that argument when I seen that, we'd have been nothing without Brady. Well, so with another franchise,
Yep.
That's how you win is with a good quarterback. You know, so I've always thought that was a ridiculous statement, a ridiculous take that he wouldn't be the coach without the coach he's got. Well, I always thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, you look at what Elway did for the Broncos. You look at what I can even say way back in the day. Oh my goodness, my names are escaping me right now. Joe Namath with the Jets. I mean, again, we go all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You win a Super Bowl, the great quarterback, all right,
Yeah.
or the good one. Very seldom do you win a Super Bowl, and I would think Baltimore might be the exception a number of years back when they won with a subpar quarterback. But the reality is this. Most coaches wouldn't have been who they were without a good quarterback.
Yep.
That's why they're such a highly prized possession as far as that goes. Cubsker goes, if Belichick isn't first ballot, then Tomlin definitely isn't first ballot. Hey, Cubsker, you are spot on. You are spot on with that. Bone and Firth, He drafted Tom Brady in the late rounds. It's not like Tom Brady was for sure number one pick in the first round. You're exactly right, brother. That's the reality. Yeah, I just don't understand that. Don't understand where the venom, but I do, because we're going to dive into it tomorrow. There was a consortium of guys that seemed like, and there were the other 9 of them did try to make theirs anonymous. I'm like, no, go ahead and say who you were. Go ahead and say who you were. Folks, the AD attitude adjustment is this. Most people see challenges as setbacks. Champions see them as setups for growth, maturity, wisdom, and a stronger comeback. What's the difference? It's the attitude. It's awareness. It's intentionality. That's why I was glad to hear Coach Hoiberg talk about, look, you know what? I like the moxie of this team. We're not going to blame the refs. And also what I liked is when you saw, when you heard Sanford and both Sam say, there are no moral victories. Yeah. That's an attitude that, hey, we go out to win the games. There's no moral victories. So, again, see the challenges as a setback, as a setup for growth and maturity. Folks, it was a great show riding with us this morning. I plan on being in tomorrow unless this thing goes south. Rudy, can't thank you enough, man.
Sure, thank you.
Absolutely. Safe travels, folks. Stick around. One-on-one with DP will be next. Have a great Wednesday.